It's mail day. Let's see what I bought. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's mainly small packages tonight, but sometimes cool things come in those. But our first package contains some picks. But these aren't just any ordinary picks. Apparently this is the preferred plectrum of U2's The Edge. You know, we've talked about his Explorers that he loves and a few other guitars. But the reason why I have these is actually a viewer of the show and sometimes editor was having a hard time getting these sent to his address, so he asked if I could forward it to him. So I said, yeah, that's not a problem. I just wanted to make sure that they actually put 50 in here before I do that. Package number 2 is another little manila envelope. This looks like it might be an eBay win. Not gonna lie, the bidding got fierce on these, so the Gibson Dependable guy parted out a deluxe. It can be hard to find the reflector style knobs in decent shape. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it was kind of chipped along many areas. Rather than holding these back, I think I'll just release them for somebody who immediately needs a set of these to restore like a Les Paul Deluxe or other rare model. But check out the wear on the poker chip. That's got some good aging to it. And it's always good to have a spare switch tip around because these things get lost, damaged, broken all the time. But they do pass the blacklight test. Next, just a quick little message. I did open up channel memberships. You'll get early access to videos. Sometimes that's just a couple of hours before they come out live. Other times it's like some of the Halloween special episodes that I have planned. I've already got one of those on the channel. It'll also give you other perks like members only posts. And as an added bonus, if it's something that I'm selling, you kind of get first dibs on it because you know about it first. Just something I thought I'd bring up if that sounds like a good time to you. Because all the proceeds from that just gets circled back into the Trogly's Guitar Show Museum and Collection. And special thanks to Michael Sangster for being the first member, and Gabo Metal for signing up. But watching, commenting, and liking on every video, that helps just as much. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I actually had a viewer reach out to me to see if I could get one of these, and at that time I couldn't, but I said I'd keep trying. But he had already found a different one, so this one is going to be available again. I just absolutely love the Les Paul Jr. custom shop case. So cool with the whole alligator exterior. I would love to see a Les Paul standard version of this, even if it's not necessarily grounded in history for them. But inside here sleeps another one of the Charlie Star signatures. This model has been very popular lately, but I like this example a lot. So my last one kind of had that knotty wood grain right there, which I did actually like. But this one has something else unique to it. We've got just a little bit of a ringy wood grain pattern right there. So the same shop that listed this also had an ebony one, but I literally hesitated for like 30 seconds and it was gone. So when I saw this one show up, it's like, yes, that's the one he was after anyway. But this thing smells extra fresh. Like Gibson must have just finished this one. Like even the satin finish feels like extra tacky. But the wood grain's a little bit more porous on this example. That's what's interesting about my reviews is I can only review the one I have in person. They're all going to vary ever so slightly. So sometimes seeing more than one's cool. And I can also see some like wood grain seepage around our neck. That is a really beautiful example. I know his is ebony, but these worn walnuts. I'm not surprised that Gibson has made some .com exclusives. But do I try it again and not do it backwards this time? But our next package actually comes from a viewer in Australia. I thought the stamps he used on these were pretty cool. We've got our platypus, our sea turtle, and some other marine life. Oh, and a human. I don't know how he got it to me for $1.85 though. I guess now that I think about it, all these other ones plus $1.85 probably. But if I remember our conversation correctly, he just had some of these old manuals that he was about ready to throw away if I didn't want them. And just old price guides. It's always fun to have this stuff for the museum. People can look through it because some people will like remember this and be like, oh yeah, I remember looking at that in college or whatnot. But oh my goodness. This is definitely my favorite thing I've seen so far. An original Gothic series promo. I've never seen that before. They had such edgy marketing in this era. But you got your 135 Explorer, 335, and Flying V. Strangely, no mention of the Les Paul version yet. Maybe that came later. But this looks like some sort of a postcard type thing. And you know what? Now that I think about it, flip this over, you get the whole Gibson Pure. Pure heart, pure feeling, pure love. Okay, I guess that branding makes sense now. Is this the one that has the other edgy ads in it? Because I need one of those in my collection. So first off over here, we've got a Pee-wee with a Pee-wee. Here we've got one of those double cut Les Paul standards. And a really blurry looking Les Paul custom at the office. At first you might just think it's a cheesy ad saying play guitar or be the cool guy, but look at that, smart wood with the gummy truss rod cover and everything. And here we've got a lady with her cat, but for me, Les Paul Platinum. I think that's Lenny Kravitz, right? Could be wrong on that, but looks like some sort of a 3 pickup SG custom. Next up we got one of those Chet Atkins models with the star inlays. Then we've got some sort of a Thunderbird bass over here, but look at that. The legendary Arctic White Studio that retained the unbound ebony fretboard longer than all the other colors on the Studio model. It's iconic. And over here we've got a Firebird, Double Cut Junior. I think that might be a Chet Atkins model in the back. Another relatively unassuming picture, just some sort of an SG. Can't quite make that up, but looks like some sort of a Les Paul. But here's the real kicker. Zoom in. That's the first year, 2002, ebony fretboard with the crescent moon inlays, faded flying V. And this father here has a very early Les Paul Supreme. And we've got Joan Jett with hers. For a second, I thought, is that a Donzi Les Paul? No, seems to be some sort of a custom job. Now this guy has an interesting Les Paul Jr. with a stop bar tunematic tailpiece. And oh cool, we've got the Swamp Ash bodied Studio in official marketing materials, as well as our Explorer Pro over here. That was kind of a new thing. Sadly, the V is not the crescent moon style in this photo, though. This thing was all Epiphone at the front, but then no, Gibson models. You got the Les Paul Goddess series in here. We've got the SG Goddess, as well as the GT series. We've got the old SG Supreme style, some of the signature Angus Young models, even the full lineup of the New Century Vegas High Rollers. I need to find me one of those. ES-137 Classic in a purple burst? That's cool. The Zakk Wylde signature models, including the Hendrix. Now you might think, hey, what's going on with these prices? Remember, this is Australian dollars. Next page, what stands out to me is this. The Trailer Park Airstreamer. Oh, and the original Mando birds. Can't forget about Emily the Strange SG from the Epiphone lineup. This one actually has a date of 2003. And you gotta remember, some of the stuff is kicking on 20 years old. Some of it has become rare. You know, even for Epiphones, these things still sell for a lot. There's the USA ones. We had reviewed one of those not too long ago. That was a fantastic guitar. Had no reason to be that good. The Bob Marleys are kind of hard to find. People like the Lynyrd Skynyrd Anniversary. Otherwise, the rest of the regular models, they haven't aged as well. But, you know, here we go. More Gothic stuff. Oh man, I showed you guys the G400. I always wanted to save that for a review. It's an SG that has like a crescent moon shape cut on the bottom. Very Zakk Wylde. And oh wow, I didn't realize they made a bass version of that too. There's a bigger one of our Airstreamer. Uh-oh, don't look at that. Causes controversy. But some of these figured wood models are kind of cool. That thing's kind of interesting. Especially that. Maple fretboarded with star Epiphone Les Paul bass. This is why it's worth looking at this stuff, because sometimes you'll find like some weird, obscure model. So thank you, Craig, for sending these in. It was very cool to see. But next up, we've got a smaller package. I would imagine this is another one of my eBay wins. Sometimes I go months without looking on eBay because I just don't travel that site as often as I used to. So we've got some sort of a Gibson box here. I get a lot of people asking me if I have any of these things for sale separately, so whenever I see a nice set, I do pick them up. It's the original Gibson 80s flip-out winding tuners. Now this looks like a nice chrome set, so not as many things need this as the gold, but still, hard part to find. So very happy being able to pick up a full set of those. The box is just an added bonus. If you don't know, Gibson pickups actually used to come in these really nice deluxe faux leather boxes. Like, it's way too nice. The packaging does not have to be this good, and they no longer are. But now they just become interesting relics of the past. Next, I've got a package from Diodario. This is not a sponsored video by them. But I do like to bring this up occasionally because I went like 10 years without realizing that every single Diodario product that you buy actually has a little code that you can enter in on their website to get free stuff. So within just a couple of months of doing that, I already got a free 10-pack of strings. Just be careful how you open your stuff so you don't ruin your code. It's just right here on the single strings. But this is what I tend to use, in case you're curious. Diodario 10s. Although I go through so many of them, I generally buy the 25 bulk set. But even these things have the codes. You just have to tear them apart and they're on the inside. But I'm really excited for the contents of this box. This is a pickup that you can't just buy. And it's used in so few models, finding it for sale separately is just an absolute miracle. Might just look like any regular, unassuming, slightly worn Gibson Gold pickup. However, go to the back. It's a 2021 Gibson Super 74. These are my favorite current custom shop pickup. They just have a fantastic tone. Gibson really needs to start selling these things separately, or putting them in more things rather than just like the 74 reissue Les Paul customs and a few Flying V's. Try these out in a guitar if you can. I'm a big fan. If you want to hear me demo one, here's a good example of that with a Randy Rhoads aged kind of tribute guitar. But last but not least, well, maybe the least, it's not the most exciting thing we've unboxed today, but it's cool if you like accessories. If I remember the story correctly, a viewer of the show reached out to me. He works at a music store or something, and the manager was just going to throw this out. So he's like, hey, dudes, any of you want this for like $10 or something? So I picked it up, and he emailed me to see if I knew anything about it. And I mean, I imagine it's what, 60s, 70s era, appears to be maybe a 335 case. So we worked out a deal where he can make a couple $100, and then I get to figure out what I want to do with it. Like, it could use a little bit of TLC. It's got some Tolex tears and chips, but what's kind of funny is, like, the day after I buy this, I get a 335. That is special, that I think this might actually become the home for. But I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I was kind of scared it'd be stinky. It definitely has that 60s scent to it. And we're missing the tab to pull this open, but yeah, somebody had one of those coily cables in it. I'm just so glad through our combined efforts that this thing did not meet its end in a landfill. So I'll let this one start airing out, and then we'll see if I add it to that super special guitar that will most likely be a members exclusive video for a little bit until the October season is upon us. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.